What's up, Mystic Manifesting family? Nick with Mystic Manifesting here, and I think this will be the last video of the night. I wanted to record a couple more, but this is something that keeps coming up, and I'm going to talk about it right now in a live stream. But if you're watching this, the live stream will be over by then, so don't worry about it. But I'm going to talk about it in the live stream in a little bit, and it's the topic of forgiveness and why it's important. And I'm going to borrow a phrase from my father, who is not really a big manifestation guy, but doesn't doubt it, believes in God, stuff like that. But he always said this about anger and revenge and stuff like that. He was being angry and hating someone and wishing ill on somebody and having these inner arguments. And this is someone who has no manifesting background said this to me, that being angry with someone and wishing them ill and being mad at them from behind is, one, they're taking up space in your head rent free, and two, you're drinking poison hoping they get sick. I always thought that was a pretty good line. So stop drinking poison hoping they get sick. Um, you know, I talk about getting to this unconditional loving state, which it took me a lot to go through. And I said that, a byproduct of all the bad things under my bridge was becoming more spiritually enlightened, becoming forgiving, becoming more loving towards everyone, including my SP and my family and myself. All of these things were byproducts of me working on myself, trying to manifest SP. And that was like the big catalyst. And like I think the whole specific person journey comes in because it's a catalyst. Not very many. It's like most people I feel like get into manifesting because of that, because it's something you feel hopeless on, and it is something that really you have nowhere to turn other than yourself and God and manifesting, because you've been shut out by the 3D, and it's the most real thing that there is, and it's your heart's connected to it and it's painful. So there's things to learn from it. And number one, I always say, do you really want your specific person, or do you want to be happy? And everybody at first will tell you, no, it's that specific person. When I say why, most people will have a similar answer. Some people won't. That's where they're right out of the way. And it's like, no, you just want to be happy with a person and be in a relationship. And if you get past that, it's like, well, why this person? You start asking more questions. Most people just want to be in a happy relationship and feel loved. Well, that specific person can't love you because there's a story attached to it. There's anger and resentment now. You feel that they can't love you, and you have a negative assumption towards them. So that's a very difficult one. It's not impossible because I've done it, but it might be easier for you to get a new specific person, which is, that's where you usually go general. It's not really specific. Somebody who meets this and this and this and this quality, and then you'll be happy with them. And you might just be fine with that, with no self concept work, no nothing, because your self concept is good with all women except for that. But then what happens when that SP does something that reminds you of this last SP, and then it's like, that reminded me of her, but maybe on a subconscious level you recognize it, and then your subconscious is turning and comparing them, and you don't even notice it, and then all of a sudden this woman becomes um, a mirror of that woman, or for ladies, that man becomes a mirror of the other man, because you have a story attached to it. You did not forgive that other person, and I've had asshole bosses who treated me like shit, and this is where somebody said in a video. He told me, we're going to address it in the live today, but it's a comment. He said that he felt like he was walked all over like a doormat when he was forgiving. And I get it. I have been too. But I had a fear I was going to be walked all over. If I'm nice and understanding and I love all, I will be walked all over. That's an assumption you have going into it. You think nice, forgiving, loving people get walked all over. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be like, I forgive you, I love you, and you can do whatever you want to me. Set boundaries too. Don't be a doormat. I had to learn that too, because I was just like, oh, I'm just forgiving and loving, and you know what? It's okay. If I'm uncomfortable now and I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, what part of me is looking for this? What part of my subconscious is creating this block or this situation? Do I really need this person in my life, or can I just wish them well and love and send them off, and then go about myself and reaffirm and love myself, but set a boundary? I will not be treated this way. And I think so many times you become a doormat if it comes to a specific person, because if I don't eat this shit, then they're going to leave. What kind of standard have you set for yourself? What kind of self love is that for yourself? How is the world expected to treat you good if that's how you see yourself? If you're worthy of being treated like garbage just for someone to pay attention to you, it's not a very strong self concept. And it might sound like I'm talking shit, but I was that guy too. I was the one who ate shit just to be able to be in the presence of somebody. And what, at the end, you've deified another person. You've given them all this specialty. Well, really, no one's better than anybody. We're all equal. We just have to see our own value. The people who don't see themselves as valuable, you have to see yourself as valuable, equal to everybody else. You're on their level. You and SP are on the same level. And you know what? Fuck it, because you're down in the dirt so much, raise yourself up a little bit higher. Not looking down, but by that I mean prioritize yourself more. And if you have to say goodbye and you believe in manifesting, then you know that they'll be back and they'll be the more ideal version. It's like you ordered something and you ordered something from the catalog of the universe and they sent you a defective product. Send it back. How do you send it back? It's like, no, I set my boundaries. They choose to leave. They choose to leave. And I'm only going to think and focus on and love the ideal version. But I wish that other version loved too. You know, it took a lot from the passage in the Bible for me that was like when Jesus was getting murdered, he said, "Forgive them, they know not what they do." And I had heard it interpreted that if everyone is you pushed out and they're only acting out your assumptions, how can you be mad? How can you hate them if they are just playing a role that they don't even know why they're doing it? It just feels natural. It just played out that way. And they've never treated no one else that way, but they treated you that way. But you have a very low self concept, and somewhere deep down you feel you deserve to be treated that way. That's how you can forgive them. And I'm not just saying to forgive them and be a doormat. Forgive yourself for the creation of the situation. Because if everything starts from us, then we did create it, but we forgive ourselves for that. And why do you forgive yourself for it? Because just like you're responsible for all the bad stuff that's happened, you're responsible for every great thing that's ever happened in your life too. And then if you come at me with, well, I've only ever experienced bad. Really? If we sit down and break down your entire life, you've only experienced bad? And if you did, then you're really, really looking for bad. This bad thing happened, so I know the world is just gonna beat me up some more and put me in this bad state. Talking about being a crybaby little bitch. You don't want to be a crybaby little bitch. I was a crybaby little bitch, but guess what? Get over it. You have what choice did you have? You can choose? Are you going to be the doormat? Are you going to be kicked around, or are you going to stand up for yourself, love them? You can love somebody and let them go, and you can manifest back the ideal version. You don't have to be kicked around, but you have to forgive people. If you like, so many times it's like SP left me for a third party. This is like a very common one. There's one I dealt with too. And it's like, you've been betrayed. You've been betrayed and hurt. You're stabbed in the back, stabbed in the heart, punched in the head, and shot with a shotgun. Like, you've been destroyed. How do you survive that? This person did that to you. They did it. They're the evil one. They hurt me. They didn't hurt you. You had a fear that would happen. Ask yourself and get real honest. Or maybe talk to somebody. Because Ink saw that in me. I didn't see it. Ink saw it in me because we talk every day. And that's how I went back and tracked. And then I really went back and got honest with myself. It's created in me first. I can't hate you because you played the part I wrote for you unknowingly. I was drunk when I wrote that part. I'm just a writer. But if I start writing, I might get drunk. If I start writing and drinking, I might write some crazy story, and that's your subconscious taking the story. I forgive my subconscious for accidentally creating that. I forgive myself for reacting the way I did. I forgive them for playing that part. Because in the end, everybody says, I love my SP, but I want them to come back and beg for me at their knees and tell me they're sorry, and then I'll take them back. Bold, bold claims for somebody who feels like they're worthless like dirt. You're low down and worse than a worm, apparently. And they're going to come back and beg the worm? Where does that make sense? But if you forgive them and you just love them, and you love yourself, you're not a worm no more. You picked yourself up. You love yourself. You find yourself. You find your ideal self. You realize that your thoughts create. You love your good and your bad thoughts. You love SP. If you unconditionally love someone like you always claim to tell me, I unconditionally love them. Unconditional. Look at the word. Unconditional is there's no condition that will make me not love you. Meaning they can do whatever they want and you're still going to love them. But if it's something really bad, you have to do it from, you know, you might have to set a boundary and push them away. But it doesn't mean you don't love them. It's just, I love you and I love myself. But I love myself just a little bit more to step back and protect myself. I'll love you from afar and I'll wish you well. And sometimes if they're not worth it to you and they're not truly your SP and you want to just be happy with a person, not that specific person, then you can push them away. Or you could push them away and wait till the better version of them comes back. It is up to you. You make the call. There is no right or wrong on, oh, should I have this specific person? That what makes you happy? If you have a lot of anger, hurt, and resentment, and you have to work through that, I did. I had to work through it. But now you guys see many lives of me in SP, and she helps me with all the stuff I'm doing on here, like the behind the scenes stuff that I'm too lazy to do. She helps me with that, and it's like, you know, I had to go through a whole forgiveness process, but I feel lighter at the end. Why? Who suffers when you're angry, hateful, resentful? When you're in that state, who suffers? Them or you? They're still living their life. And the more you hate them because you think they're the specific person who doesn't give a shit about you, they will continue to not give a shit about you because they only react and play back what you're thinking they feel. As people tell you that she has gotten rid of like multiple guys in her life where she never thought about them again, but for some reason she couldn't let go of me. I mean, you can make all kinds of logical arguments, but for me, that was what sold me on it. And it's like, you know what? If you, I mean, I had to fight through and forgive, but at the end, to me, this feels like the better version of the woman that I met. And it's not just, you know, I keep doing the SP thing because that's what everybody wants to talk about. And if you want coaching on it, I mean, you could get coaching with me on it. And it's like, but at the end, this applies for everything. The SP thing is the everything. You have to forgive. If boss fires you, you know what? Since they're me pushed out, I understand it. Was I afraid to get fired? Yeah. But you know what? Everything works out in my favor. I take that assumption and I'm going to get an even better job. I had told the story about someone stealing my overtime. The overtime was worth $600. I sold my first package for monthly coaching for $1,500. And I told people out of anger, I turned it around and I said, you know what? Bless him. I was mad, but I blessed him. Bless him. Forgive him. You know what? He's old. He needs that money. He needs it to retire. I wish him well. Hopefully, you know, that helps him not have to live check to check like he claims. Me, I'll make 3 times as much somewhere else, and I'll not be working this job for the rest of my life. These are things I said. Day later, somebody buys the first, like, and it wasn't even something I was advertising. They requested it, and it was an old listing thing I had, and I was like, well, it's what I was going to charge for it at one point. I mean, I love that success story. You know, somebody owed me money, and you know, it's like I wrote a letter thanking him. I said, thank you for the money. Um, I know you'll get it to me soon or whatever. And at this point, I'm still waiting on it or whatever. But I wrote him like a thank you letter. Less than 8 hours later, he sent me an apology, and I'm going to get it to you as soon as possible. And it's probably like maybe 2 weeks ago now. But within 8 hours, that happened. And then I started thinking, you know, oh, am I going to get it? Am I not going to get it? And then it was like everything that was like lined up what was supposed to be like the next day. I started fearing, and then all of a sudden, like, it kind of dissipated. So it's like you got to watch your thoughts and assumptions too. If you truly forgive and forget, it's like whatever. Like Neville said, he will never chase anybody for money. I will not do that either. It's like I've done that before, and it's like you're stressing yourself out for nothing. So stop stressing yourself out. Stop getting angry at other people. Stop blaming other people for problems that you created. You create your blessings and you create your problems. Stop creating more problems. Create blessings. Bless them. Bless yourself. Just bless life. You're happy to be here. You have one life and you don't know when it ends. So be happy that you woke up. Find the most that you can do today and have fun with it. And I guess that's the end of my speech. But you don't gain anything from not forgiving, but you gain everything from forgiving. Who becomes free at the end? You. Doesn't matter what they get. You become free. It's your ego and you're thinking what the world's going to think about you if you forgive them. You know, the 3D world and my ego would say, Why would you go back with somebody after all that? Because my heart and my soul are happy and I'm happy. So am I going to let the world mind and the ego that follows the path of the world mind dictate my happiness and say, nope, you know what? I'm happy, but I have to give it up because of what other people might think. Am I going to forgive someone because other people will think I'm soft? Doesn't matter. If it makes me feel good, I do it within reason. Don't go do no something stupid or crazy, but you know, mentally, if a mental diet makes me feel good and forgiving someone makes me feel good, then I'm going to do it. And I feel lighter. And I'm not worried about like having inner fights or inner conversations. Do they pop up? Yeah. And then you could switch it. Hopefully that helps. If you have more questions, drop them down below. And actually, I just made a whole series of videos and didn't promote it at all, but you guys already know. Coaching's down below if you want it. You can book a session. If you want to join the paid Discord, it's $7.50 a month. And I got all my other socials on there if you want to follow me and other stuff. But other than that, you can't fuck this up, and it's all working out in your favor. Love you guys very much, and I'll see you in the next one.